I ask too much of you, Tenno. These horrors must be stopped!
Araxia, the spider warframe. Normally, I don't make videos on singular warframes, either because they lack lore, or because it's too vague to talk about them in general, so I use them in versus battles to help lighten the load, like with Corvix. However, Isleweaver released, and they touched back on the Strands of Khra, which was introduced in Whispers in the Wall. If you don't know what the Strands of Khra are, I will play the description now.
Do not patronize the Tenno fish. The Strands of Khra are merely void renderings of the chains of cause and effect. Conceptually embodied timelines, if you will.
Papa's daughter excelled at explaining complicated concepts in childish terms. I see now where she learned it.
According to Lloyd and Fibonacci, the Strands of Khra are conceptual timelines that connect the void to the physical universe. Man in the Wall has to use the Strands of Khra in order to enter our reality, whether it's Duviri, the Weave, the physical universe, or Albrecht's laboratories. It doesn't matter where in the universe you are at, Man in the Wall needs a way in, and the Strands of Khra are what does it. However, the Strands of Khra are not merely physical.
The strand holds. The indifference approaches. Soon, it will take on mass.
This second statement from Fibonacci really called out to me. You see, even when in the Strands of Khra, you can remain metaphysical rather than taking on a physical form. This means the conceptual embodiments of space and time are just abstract offhand pieces of trash to Man in the Wall while he's in the Strands of Khra because he's still weakened from losing his finger. Terrifying stuff, right? This is abstract time and abstract space manipulation, cause and effect, and other forms of conceptual manipulation we've yet to see. I don't know about you guys, but just getting that from one release alone is terrifying enough. Oh, it gets way better too, because they went and released Isleweaver. Yeah, that's great.
Remember what the scholar told us. The fragmented ones tether down the Strands of Khra that weave her false Duviri. Get to the heart of her power. Call forth the beast, then kill it!
This is when we get more elaboration on the Strands of Khra outside of what Lloyd told us. What Man in the Wall does is he uses the Strands of Khra to chart out a location to somewhere other than the void. Because he lost his finger, he's stuck to just traversing through what amounts to strings going from point A to point B. But he's locked to the Strands of Khra. He cannot leave them. He can only enter them from the void and re-enter the void from the strands. When you break one strand, he has to make another one in another location. The quiet part not being said is that Duviri is a narrative, a literal story made reality. To interact with Duviri means you would have to interact with the story. Kulivo literally bled into the story of Duviri itself. This is all leading up to manipulate the Strands of Khra in any way is to manipulate a potency that is on par with narrative manipulation. I can already feel the scrutiny, but I had the receipts.
This is where he stowed it away. The secret of my lost flesh. Not lost. Stolen.
You have to burn her influence out at the very roots. The spider's helping her, is keeping this false Duviri tethered to my kingdom. Cut it down. Her grip weakens at last. Call forth the beast that binds wants her to Duviri.
This place is mine! It only exists because of me! That means I get to keep it!
And back into the realm of untold stories she goes.
In under 60 seconds, that is the plot of Isleweaver involving Oraxia. Which brings us to the topic of today's video, Oraxia. Araxia is a warframe that's similar to Corvix. They were both designed solely for the purpose of combating the hazards related to the research of Entrati. To the keen observer watching this video, you may notice the 6 Kyrinka pillars on the ground. These Kyrinka pillars help in defending the lab from the Murmur. So we also have scaling from Corvix, who's on par with Araxia, just supporting all this scaling. Now that we've established Araxia and Corvix are both Equinox level quality arguments for high universal, just casually off the rip, what about her hacks? Starting with the individual stuff, let's talk about her lore. Araxia was stated by the game to be fear itself. I'm guessing that spiders are the representation of fear that she takes on in her conceptual embodiment. With her spider powers, she has obviously broken summoning because she can summon little spiders who can do the same stuff that she can to a degree, like weaving webs, biting, inflicting toxin, and just being overall menaces. She has the spider legs, which give her multiple forms of immunity to hacks, like statuses, and she becomes a freaking tank on top of that. And her mobility is increased, along with presumably her stats. She has another ability, which lets her fire toxin darts at you, which do a lot of damage. And when you press the Alt F4 button, little spiders are summoned, which can do a bunch of the same stuff she can potency-wise. And then she has another ability called Mercy's Kiss, which acts as a limited form of instant death hacks, and it drains your essence, and she can absorb the essence that she drains from the Mercy's Kiss. And then just casually she can entrap you in webs, which for some reason have damage vulnerability, so that's a weakening debuff along with being locked in place. So, okay, that's a lot of busted powers. There's other stuff, but that's more to do with interaction, and all the warframes have a degree of interaction with the Isleweaver stuff because of how all the scaling works. So I'll let you determine the rest of that for yourself. That's everything I have for you today. One last note. Man in the wall himself, Mr. I want to cause infinite suffering to the rest of the multiverse, called Araxia insane.
You had to put her down. She was crazy. Do Mathila next.